He's absolutely in hunting mode now. Like zoned in. Jeff here, St Ives Cookery School. Got one of my good friends here, Josh, who taught me all about foraging years ago, and I thought it'd be amazing to invite him on today, walk around St Ives and see what we can find.
Yeah, we'll head out on the coast path and see what wild plants we can find. Jeff can show me how to...
Yeah, I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone, man, a little bit.
Exactly.
So we're going to knock up some like roasted cod with some beans and basically whatever Josh finds. We're going to put together a lunch today, sit down and have a bit of a chinwag. It's not a bad little day out, is it?
Yeah, look at lovely.
Little cruise.
We'll just go down so we can look at those phormiums.
Right down here?
So we're going to look at these ones here.
Go on, what's this then?
This is New Zealand flax. Has quite a surprising edible use. So you can see last year's flower stalks coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably some new ones coming up. Yeah, usually like mid-June they'll come through, and they're these kind of red, like trumpet-shaped flowers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Up, and they're filled with like a sweet edible nectar.
Oh, really?
It's quite unusual to get that kind of amount of like a sweet liquid.
And it's edible?
Tastes like sugar syrup basically, yeah, and you can just drink it like straight from the flowers.
No way.
Yeah, it's quite amazing actually. The Maori used to collect it in like gourds and use it as a sweetener.
No way.
Alongside honey and things. But yeah, it's really one of my favourite things to forage really. It's like very Jungle Book, like, you know, you feel like you want to be humming the bare necessities as you're picking and just drinking this syrup straight from the flowers.
Yeah, I've got Mowgli vibes actually.
That's looking beautiful today.
Yeah, it's winter, isn't it?
This is one of the wild mustards, the black mustard. Always good to have a tiny nibble to start with. Some of them are pretty mild and others like blow your head off. But
Can we go?
yeah, have a little nibble. Not too hot, that one. They actually lose their heat when you cook them. I know, yeah, you probably smell
delicious,
mustard leaves, but yeah, you still get that really lovely, like kind of mustardy flavour, but it gets rid of that like spiciness.
I should say that I'm foraging like with the chefs from the restaurant or something, and I'm just want to make sure that I'm picking the right plant. What kind of thing am I looking for here?
With the mustard, it really likes to grow in cultivated ground, so you'll find it on the edges of fields and stuff a lot.
Okay.
Along the edges of hedgerows. You crush that one up and have a little smell of it. It's got a really distinctive kind of mustardy, like brassica smell to it. That's a really good dead giveaway for these.
So does the weather in Cornwall produce more like kind of edible plants down this way, do you think?
Not necessarily more, but because it's so mild over the winters, we have like a much longer season really. We don't get like harsh frosts. Right. So lots of stuff will grow like right throughout the year. Now, this is the hemlock here actually.
Oh, this is the beauty.
Yeah, so this is hemlock water dropwort.
It literally looks like celery, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And you can see it right next to the Alexanders. These ones here are edible. And this one is one of the most toxic plants in the Northern Hemisphere. A small amount of this can really cause problems. You know, even eating just a few leaves, you'd be in hospital with a...
That's pretty dangerous.
When you're picking anything with foraging, you know, you need to be 100% sure what it is. And it's quite good to learn these really poisonous ones sometimes early on to know what to avoid.
There's this little like hot shot of foraging right there.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, it's such a good spot for it. Good little patch of sorrel here, actually.
Oh, I love sorrel, man.
Yeah, this is beautiful. So you're probably familiar with this as well. I mean, they do actually cultivate this.
We'll
pick some up to take with us, sure.
Yeah, nice. Knowing what not to pick is more important than knowing what to pick, isn't it?
Totally, yeah. It's not just knowing what the edible plants look like. So these are three-cornered leek, West Cornwall's version of wild garlic. Like that kind of garlicky spring onion, like chive hit.
Yeah, they are delicious.
I'm sure you're very familiar with these, but...
only when you started teaching me.
Yeah, they're quite sweet, these flower stalks, but yeah, one of the first things I learnt about in foraging, and the one that I still probably use the most. Just so versatile. The whole plant is edible, the bulbs, the flowers, and the stalks. These flowers here are starting to close up, and you can just see starting to form inside them. Yeah, this will be the kind of unripe seed pod. So it looks like a little pea, but with a kind of garlic, oniony flavour to it. And you can pick those and use those different things. Yeah.
They're quite big in flavour, weren't they?
Yeah, they've got a real punch to them. Kind of whenever, the golden rule when you forage, like for me when I'm foraging is, you know, you don't want to over harvest, and I always like to, if I'd look back, I don't want to see where I've been. So I'm not going to take like all of the flowers at least from one plant at all. I'm going to take...
You're just like taking a handful and just ripping it out.
No, exactly. You're not just like chopping it all back. Got to be respectful of the other creatures and just, you know, nature in general. When you are foraging, like, you know, it's slow food. You have to be careful and slow, and it's not about like harvesting quickly. You have to be really mindful of what you're doing, which is a great thing. You know, it slows us down and particularly in this modern age, I find that really beneficial.
Cool, yeah, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna, I soaked some beans this morning and they're just simmering on the side. They're almost perfect. So we're gonna turn that into a little bit of a cassoulet and then we're going to brine and roast some cod.
Awesome.
If you're keen for that.
Yeah, I'd love to learn how to do
Cool,
it.
man. All right, well, let's get going then, shall we? So let's portion the cod into a nice big, 160, 180 gram portion. That's it, yeah. Just move it around as you want to. And we'll see who gets it best at the end, yeah? We're gonna brine that for about 10 minutes in some salted water, just to firm it up and season it all the way through. Straight to the bottom. And I'm just gonna leave that in there. Cool. For about 8 minutes or so. I think that'll be absolutely fine. Leave that to the side. For the cassoulet, we're going to cook down some onion, some celery, some garlic, and chilli. So you don't really cook fish at home, then, you say? So
No. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with it. It's my shame as a St Ives boy, so I'm looking forward to learning how to treat it properly.
Mate, this is going to be wicked. This is going to be a lovely little dish, actually. I'm just going to plonk those little beans in now. Let some of the juice go in as well. Not bothered about that. How hungry are you? Pretty hungry?
Yeah, get them in.
Get it in there. And you've got some butter in your bowl. You probably need one of those blocks for your fish cooking, and the other one, do you just want to dump it in here?
Sure.
And then using your spoon, just slowly start mixing it around so the butter is like mixing right into it quite a lot. Just to make it really healthy. I've got some here as well. Cool. I'm going to give you some of my butter.
Yeah, lovely.
All right, so as that's, I'm going to turn that off now. So it's going to be still warm. So should we just start prepping the wild stuff down and get it in there?
Cool.
I'll take on the 3/4 leek.
Yeah.
Do you want to chop up some sorrel and the mustard then?
Yeah, I'll do those too.
Okay, cool. Put them back in here. Is this how you'd prepare it normally at home, this kind of stuff?
Yeah, totally. I'd kind of usually shred the mustard a bit, or the 3/4 leeks I usually add in towards the end. Let's get the sorrel in there as well. Yeah, the fennels probably doesn't need much cooking at all, does it?
So different, aren't they, to anything else? Now then, I'm happy with that cod. So if you want to just take that out and just put it onto your little cloth, then pat that dry after, just to make it easy to pan roast. Get your pan to a nice medium heat, add a little bit of oil. No need to season, remember, because we've already brined it, and put it skin side down. I'm just going to leave it now. Now at this stage, just put a tiny bit of pressure on the flesh.
Yeah, you can hear it starting to sizzle, can't you?
Just keep the pressure on there for a sec.
Okay, cool.
Because the skin is, will start curling up a little bit. What we're doing now is ensuring that the skin keeps contact with the pan.
Cool.
There'll be a nice, constant cook on it. And you don't want to be moving it around after. Just leave it absolutely sit there and let that just cook all the way. So it's like halfway through. Turn it over and continue to cook until it reaches about 40 degrees in the middle. And my little fillet's going to come out and sit on this little side here. Cool, so we've got some lovely pan roasted cod, we've got some nice beans with all the lovely foraged wild plants that Josh has found, nice buttery sauce. This is an excellent lunch. This is gonna be really, really cool.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. It's so important to, learn how to use the ingredients in the kitchen as well as learning how to recognise them, so nice.
That's when you find out your cod's gonna be cooked properly. Yeah. You know what I mean?